It's time once again to go racing.
The pressure is really on now.
And it's pole position.
And it's pedal to the metal. Go, go, go!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PSGL Season 29. This is round number 8, and we head to the Shanghai International Circuit. Yes, we're out of Europe now for the Chinese Grand Prix, a track which costed $400 million to make, and it was transformed into one of motorsport's most impressive modern facilities. My name is Jess, one of your commentators this evening. I am not alone tonight, but Owen is having trouble getting online. His connection's pretty bad at the moment, so he may join me in the commentary box, he may not, but we may as well get the stream underway anyway. And if you hear someone pop into Discord or any Discord noises, then you know it's him. So we had a fantastic race last week at Austria in the F2 tier, but it was quite a crazy ending. If you saw my Twitter last week, you saw pretty much a collision between the championship contenders, Kazizl and Valtters, and I think it was Baraka as well. All three of them retired from the race, and there was a steward inquiry which came about because of this, which happened. So this was the result of it. So 3 license points to Valtters, a qualifying ban, and a 10-second time penalty to serve at this race in China. And the reason was Kazizl's move on Valtters into turn 3 was fine, but past the apex, Valtters went off the track trying to keep as much momentum and his position. I was riding on board with him at the time, actually. And when he rejoined the track, he didn't realise he had 2 cars on his right-hand side and kept turning right, squeezing both Baraka and Kazizl. That resulted in a collision that saw all 3 cars retire, and Valtters was to blame for this incident. Obviously, I did not know who was at fault. It was quite hard to tell because I had a rubbish camera angle, but I was able to see the POVs after the event anyway. So that was the outcome. The other Stewards report, which happened for F2 last week, was 2 license points to Kazizl and a 5-second time penalty to serve on his next round after an incident with Haller on lap 15, turn 3. I don't think that was caught on stream, so I don't know entirely what happens. I can't really explain about that. So anyway, China is a track where it is quite difficult on this game, especially around turn 13 and 14. It's so easy to lose the back end. It was first used in Formula 1 back in 2004, and the first winner was actually a Ferrari of Rubens Barrichello, I think it was, and the last winner, Lewis Hamilton, back in 2019. And in 2020, obviously we didn't race due to COVID, and we didn't race this year as well. I wonder if we're going to race next year or not. I don't think China's on the calendar for F1 2021, 2022, sorry, which I felt quite gutted about. So, before we get into the qualifying session, let's go through the standings. It was Cornet that took the win last week, and he got 16 points to his name, and he jumped to 2nd place in the standings. And he's sitting on 42 points. Now, with Valtters DNF, the gap is sort of starting to close in a little bit. Gap is now 21 points. So, Valtters on 63. Cornet is on 42, Baraka's on 37, Brock's on 36, joint with Fabi, Suka is on 34, Kazizl on 33, and then we got Hadler, Daniel, Netsky, Deso, Gill, Benny, Simo, Rizza, CC Brain, Ashbest, Louis, Luca, Recon, Cohen, Kareem, Valentine, and Will Murdoch. Now, we have 2 full-time drivers, which are the 2 Haas drivers, I believe. They haven't scored any points yet. They've had the bad luck in this PSGL season, and I just hope I just hope that Valentine, the only house driver here tonight, scores some points for the team, because they're not doing very well in the Constructors' Championship either. We'll have a look at that. So here we go. So Aston Martin leading, by the way, with Valtteri and Haller. Second is Mercedes on, I think it's 88 points. A quite close gap between Aston Martin and Mercedes. It did help that Cornet did take the win last week. So Ferrari in third, Alfa Romeo fourth, McLaren in fifth, Alpine sixth, Red Bull in seventh, AlphaTauri eighth, Williams in ninth, and Haas in 10th. So, without further ado, let's get started with qualifying with 18 drivers today. We got quite a few reserves on the grid. We have got Cohen that's filling in for Ash Best, and we have got Netsky that's filling in for CC Brain, and I think that's it. I think those are the only two reserves that we have got. And I think there's a few other drivers missing tonight. So, crucial constructors' points are it's going to be missed if they're not careful. So, we're going to keep an eye on some of these drivers tonight. But I'm a bit intrigued as to why a lot of people gone for the softs, because for the start their quali laps, because the softs around here, they don't last at all. They have the worst tyre wear on this game. In terms of tyre temps and also grip. And it might be that we may have at least a wet start or a full wet race. Now, I have seen the other tiers as well, and most of the tiers did have some sprinkles, either in qualifying or in the race, so should be interesting. So we're riding on board with Gil now as he makes his way through turns 12 and 13, one of the hardest parts on the circuit. And he just clipped that curb a little bit. You don't want to be hitting the curbs too much around China, because a spin could be inevitable around it. And luckily, we're not seeing a situation like last week where qualifying came to an abrupt end last week. We saw Kareem took pole like within 2 minutes of the qualifying session starting. So luckily, it's dry at the moment. But, you know, we don't get the drivers telling us what the weather's going to be like. I don't check the chat either. And they never tell me. They never tell me in the chat what the weather is. I think because they've learned by now, I always say, don't tell the weather, don't tell the weather. But anyway, Gil is coming across the line with a 131.438. We've got a Mercedes. I think that might be, no, it's not Brock, it is Cornet. No, it's not Cornet, it's one of the Alpines, so I think it's about to start his lap. Then we got Kazizel, who has just started, and then Daniel as well, 130.9. Now, Daniel was the story of last week's race, who really benefited from people's mistakes. He actually got, I think it was second place last week. And is he looking for an elusive victory? Now, final corner does Valentine. He comes across the line, 130.8. Now, these are all just banker laps, remember. These are not the times that we could be expecting for the end of qualifying. But it's good to know who is comfortable early on and who needs to work just a little bit harder on their laps to get higher up the grid. Not many drivers in pretty much most of the season, pretty much all the season, the person who started on pole position never won the race. Last week, Kareem started on pole, never won the race. Cornet, race 1, started on pole, never won the race. Valentine in round 2 started on pole, never won the race. You can see a picture going here. So it looks like it's kind of like a pole curse, but it could change. It could change. Someone could be like, you know what, I'm going to steal that curse. And it's currently Suko that's currently on fastest at the moment. Deso currently in 18th in the standings. And he is now in 14th. Now, Boutus has retired. Now, as he retired in the pit lane, I don't think he's got a quali ban. I will need to double check that. He might have due to penalty points. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why he's retired. He's probably wanted to start at the back and knowing that he wants to do the alternate strategy. Now, remember in Zandvoort, I believe he was the one who started on the alternate. No, it was it was Monza actually where he started quite low down and he went on to win the race. It's quite a common thing for Val to do in this tier, to have a poor qualifying and then have a very good race. So everybody has pretty much done their laps. So they're probably going to be going into the pits now. And then there'll be a few more laps and then that'll be it for qualifying. Now, we got a few drivers to talk about actually. We got Fabi, who got some points last week after his DNF in Silverstone. Needed some luck, needed some skill, and he benefited from the carnage. And he finished in 4th position last week. Just missed out on the podium. But I'm sure you'll take that despite the bad luck he was been having for some part of the race. Rise, who's currently, is he here tonight? Yeah, he is here tonight, but he's in the pits. He got a podium last week. He got his first point of the season, I believe. But yes, he got his first point of the season because there was one time he got pole where he DNF'd. He either DNF'd or got 0 points. So last week was the race that Rise got his first podium and his first point. And I'm sure he's going to be able to hopefully carry that momentum. Let us know your predictions, guys, in the chat on who you think's going to get pole position. Here comes Gil on his outlet. I'm actually trying to find someone who's actually on a lap because I want to go on board with a hot lap. Usually when I go on board with a hot lap, it never goes well. So let's hope for Gil's sake that I don't have a commentator's curse on him. I'm praying. So Gil, don't let me down, friend. So, here we go then. Gil's just about to start his lap. Final corner of turn 16. Now you're going to be approaching turn 1 soon. The radius corner, very tricky. And the drivers must carefully balance the throttle and brakes to try and take a late apex into turn 2. And cars wide sometimes do not mix there. But he's managing quite well at the moment. Now he's going to be approaching turn 4. Going to be 3rd gear here and then into 4th on the exit. Be careful to listen to the force feedback around here. Turn 6 after the short straight, which includes turn 4 and 5. You reach this hairpin. Clip the inside curb with the front left right tyre. And then you're going to be approaching the next few corners. Now 7. It's quite a little kink of 7 and then heading towards 8. And then it's the end towards turn 9. And again, clipping the inside curve just a little bit, not too much, because, again, a spin. For turn 11, brake just about hit, then 12 and 13. Let your car go to the edge of the track just a little bit. And what did I say? What did I say about hot laps? I'm so sorry, Gil. Every time I go on board with a hot lap, they just spin it. Gil's going to hate me for this. Is someone else on a lap? Rico's about to start. Is there anyone in the middle of their lap? Cohen is. I don't know. I think Rico may be a bit further on his lap, so we'll follow him. He looks a bit more comfortable, and it gives us a great opportunity to go through the sector times as well. So we'll have a look at that. About 2 tenths quicker than his sector 1 previously. So he's looking good so far. So he would put himself around about P7, where Arisa is. And past turn 7, 8. And then into turn 9. A little bit more comfortable than Gil. So he's won a bit wide there. That would have almost been an invalidation. But I don't think it was. He's purple sector 2. That's what the game is currently telling me. But is the game lying to me, or is it actually happening? We'll have to find out. So now heading towards a back straight. This is where the DRS is activated. You'll be going at almost 200 miles per hour here on this back straight. Heading towards the hairpin of turn 14 and 15 now. Very important braking zone. It's so easy to lock up, as I found out on this game. And then turn 16, final corner of the lap. A very common place to invalidate. Let's see what he could do. 130.8. He had a brilliant final sector, which put him into P3, and Kerman goes fast again. 130.6. Anyone else on a quick lap time? I think we got Cornet, who hasn't set a lap yet. Neither has his teammate, Brock. So we'll keep an eye on those two. Handler is at the back as well. Wanting to score well for Aston Martin today, knowing that his teammate is not taking part in qualifying. Maybe there was a reason, but you never know. So here he comes then past turn 15 and 16. And I think this could be pole here for the Mercedes. And it is pole, 1:30.568. Suku's in third. He's purple set to 1. He's going quicker. What about Brock? Brock's in 16th at the moment. And I don't think he's faster than his teammate, but we'll see. He's only slightly behind his team, actually. So at the moment, it is a Mercedes 1-2. And I think we've got, Fabi on a lap as well, but he has invalidated. Haller's on a lap as well, about to cross the final corner, with a Haas following in behind. No, the Haas is going into the pits, actually. Haller does not improve position. He stays in 12th. Now we've got, an Alpine car. That might be Suku, actually, who was looking very, very good. He's only 6/100ths quicker than Sector 2, so it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight for him to get pole. He was struggling a bit in the hairpin, though. He is slowing down. So he might go out again, save a bit of battery, or is he going to the pit? I'm not sure where he binned it, if he did. Or he might not have just been comfortable on his lap. Now, it's hard to tell how much longer we got left in the session, because it still says yellow flag Sector 3. That's probably just people going into the pits. We've got another, I think we've got a Williams. No, we haven't got a Williams. I think the Williams is going into the pit lane. What about Brock, Cornet's teammate? He's slowing down a bit. Yeah, he's running out of fuel. That is not good. That is not good for him at all. So yeah, majority of the drivers are going into the pits. And hopefully, as I said, I will have my co-commentator very, very shortly. If he should be joining in before the end of qualifying if his internet gets fixed. But if not, I will have to do it on my own. And yeah, I can confirm. I wasn't sure that Valdes has a quality ban. Yes, he does. So that is why he's at the back. And with that incident that he had last week, that probably really solidified that. Could that ruin his championship chances? Well, he's 20 points ahead of his nearest rivals, but that could mean anything. Just one bad race, and then that's it. So we've got 3 minutes and 33 seconds still to go qualifying, and we're getting a bit of a lull at the moment. Everybody is in the pits. Every single driver. I think this is the first time we've seen it, but I think we got a Red Bull going out, and I think a McLaren. No, I was close. It was an Alpine. But yeah, we got Simo, who is out on track, and we got an Alpine of, I think there's only one P out. No, it's not Suko. It's Recon, who's out at the moment. I believe he wasn't here last week. But his luck is starting to improve a little bit from last week. Well, the week before, when he got considerably much better results. The best result he had was in Zandvoort, where he scored 2 points. And it is a Shazoo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just noticed that. So Cornet, Brock, Cohen, Suko, and Kazizel. I wonder if they're on a party together. Now, I have been talking about Kazizel. I've been writing up some notes about Kazizel before the stream. And Kazizel has been having some bad luck. He had bad luck for being crashed out in the final lap of Austria. In Silverstone, he got a disqualification for no reason at all. Well, it was during the safety car, but the game thought that we took the safety car once going into the pits, which I felt like was a bit unfair. And, well, I'm just trying to say, he DNF'd in Monza. So he's had 3 straight races where he's had bad luck. So hopefully tonight, this could be the race for him. And if there's rain, he's usually quite good in the rain. At the moment. So everyone's on their out lap now. There's a huge traffic jam through turn 9. Let's see if I can go on board. As people are starting to warm the tyres up. If you're not out now, then you're in trouble. Luckily, all the drivers are out now. So one final chance to get a push lap. I'm looking at the gaps at the moment. They're on low fuel loads at the moment. 7 tenths separate the top 17. And 1 tenth separate the top 4. 7/100ths of a second separate the top 3. That is just insane. That's why I love commentating on F2 every week. It just gets closer and closer and closer. If you watched last season was quite electric. It went down to the final race, and I was discussing last week about the new calendar. We had more races to add on to it. We got Portimao next Monday, which I'm looking forward to, but it is a track which I haven't raced on this game. So I need to actually race myself before commentate on it, so I know what the drivers feel like. Because usually, before going into a race to commentate, I usually know what the drivers are feeling, because I've either done some time trial before, or I've raced in a race like not so long ago. But for Portimao, it's completely different. But we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. So I'm not used to this. Last week I wasn't used to this either. I get to cover everyone's final laps then. So I think it was Recon up first, but he has invalidated, and he's got his next lap invalidated as well, so he won't be able to finish. And we got Simo crossing the line. He made in P6. Next is Cohen, I believe, who comes across the final corner. And then we have one of the Mercedes afterwards as well. Not sure on which Mercedes, but Cohen's fastest. What about Cornet? Cornet's in the pits. Brock's in the pits. So they think they couldn't do any better. What about the Aston Martin of Hadler? Can only manage 4th. Netsky can only manage 5th position. We have got the other Red Bull of Deso coming across the line soon as well. Let's see what he could do. 131.2, only slightly improves. And then we got Rizet and Baraka. Baraka goes fastest by just by 100 per second. Gil goes 3rd. Now we got another Haas driver. We got Valentin. Oh, he invalidated in the final corner. I did say it was easy to invalidate. That was cruel. That was cruel from Valentin, but there's still more people to finish their laps. And almost a bit of a tang slapper from Louis. And he can only manage 13th. And Recon's invalidated, so that is it for qualifying. So, and I just had a word in the chat as well from Luke, who is our F1 commentator, if you want to check out the F1 stream. And poll was 130.5, and check out the F1 stream at 8 PM, by the way. Where you can see the top guys in PlayStation battle it out for the championship, which would be exciting. I think we're just waiting for Rizzo to go into the pits at the moment. So we'll go through your results then, as Baraka goes on pole position. The man who has won, I think, probably one race. Actually, he was so close to winning in Belgium and in Monza, but just didn't quite do it. Can he win a race tonight? We'll find out soon. Cohen in 2nd, Gil in 3rd, Daniel 4th, Cornet 5th, Suku 6th, Brock 7th, Haller 8th, Kazizel 9th, Fabi 10th, and if it's dry, they'll have to start on the softs. But people outside the top 10 are as follows: Netsky, Simo, Louis, Recon, Valentin, Rizet, Deso, and Valters. Obviously, Valters with that qualifying ban. So we're going to see in a second, guys, if there's going to be sprinkles or if it's going to be a dry race coming. Get your predictions in the chat. Now, the laps that they were saying was pretty decent, and some of these guys, I think, could be near the top 10 in F1. So, you know, something to ponder your mind about. It is very, very competitive lap times. So, before we do the race, we're going to quickly look at the track map. So, 5.4 kilometers long, 16 turns, 7 to the left, 9 to the right, 2 DRS zones, with 1 being at the start finish straight and 1 being at turn 13 and 14. And we've got the C3s, C4s, and the C2s being used for the race. The softs can last 7 laps, the mediums could last 16 laps, and the hards could last 21 laps. And if there was a late safety car, you would hope the safety car would come at lap 21. That would get the softs to the end quite nicely. Mediums could go to the end from lap 12, and hards could go to the end from lap 7. So I think we're just waiting for all the drivers to ready up and get their setups on. I think it's taken a while for that, and I think they're probably going to try and get Luca in as well. So I'm not sure if there's a problem with the lobby or if there's just a bit of a wait whilst we get going. And we've got a countdown, which is good. So we are about to get underway for PSGL PlayStation F2. This gets broadcast every Monday night at 7 p.m. I nearly said 8 p.m. Jeez. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. We want 11.2k subscribers, which is amazing. Can we reach 11.5 maybe soon? You never know. And also turn that notifications on and like this video. So if you see a red button, turn it to grey. Simple as. And also you can follow us on Twitter at PremierSimGL. We're doing well on followers there as well, but it'll be nice to have some more followers there too. And you can also follow me on Twitter at JessGames95. Right then. It looks like I'm on my own for the race again. Because Owen's Wi-Fi is not playing ball tonight, which is not good. To be honest, I probably would have panicked if I was him. I would have been frantically trying to find every possible fix, but it happens. You sometimes get that. So, we're looking at tyre choices. Now, we've got rain. We have got rain on dry track. There was a prediction for Mr. Luke Etheridge that we could see some rain in the race. And his calculations were correct. And people actually thought that it was actually going to be a wet start. That's probably why everyone did their banker laps on the sauce. But the rain is not wet enough for them to be intermediate tyres yet. So the ones that qualified on softs, they are probably a bit annoyed with themselves. Actually, they won't be too bad, so they could get some tyres on straight away. But the intermediates won't last the whole race, so this is going to be a very interesting strategy. We don't know who's going to win this race. It's definitely going to go down to the wire here. And then we got quite a few people in the chat. We got Ickleblocks, Will, Biggles, Ruben, Alfie as well, Casper. We got obviously Mr. Big C himself, Ryan. Good to have you all. Get your predictions in chat. Who do you think is going to win this race? It was a good race last time. So hopefully it should be a good race once again. Will Baraka convert his pole to a race win today in China? Only one way to find out, as we're just waiting for Valtters, the only driver starting on the softs, which is a gamble strategy, but he knows it's probably going to rain quite heavily, so he wants to get rid of those softs quickly, so probably that was a good decision. The 5 red lights are coming on. Baraka is on a pole position. Is he going to keep it that way? We'll have to find out. And it is lights out and away we go. Let's see who gets the better start into turn 1. It is Baraka. Cohen has dropped off a little bit, but Daniel is trying to breeze around the right-hand side into turn 2 and 3. This is going to be a tricky hairpin for everyone to master, but let's see how these slippery conditions can cope with. And Baraka is already pulling away. The 2 Mercedes are having a bit of a scrap as well, heading towards turn 5. Gill's going to try and get on the left-hand side into turn 6 then. And we also have Brock that almost hit the back of him as well. This could be 3 abreast here. They're all moving positions here and could be struggling. But again, not enough to warrant for the intermediate tyres. And they actually managed turn 1 to 4. Okay, it wasn't too slippy. But it will get slippier as the race will go on. And will it dry up enough? Or will it get worse? We'll have to wait and see, as the Deltas, unfortunately, have messed up with me at the moment, which is not good. And we do have a yellow flag. Oh, no. Because Zizzle just can't... He just keeps getting bad luck at the moment. He's down into last place. Ah. Hopefully, he's going to need a miracle. He's going to need everybody else to pretty much bottle the strategy in order for him to have a good chance of winning this race. But we got Louis and Fabi going side by side to turn 14. Louis covers off into 15 and stays in 9th. We got, I think, 2 wide between Rizze and Fabi. Quite a few people going into the pits, actually. Suku is in the pits. Is he going for inters nice and early? I think it's too early, to be fair, because the track is still dry. Even though it's raining, the track is dry, and it's still grippy enough for these soft tyres. And Suku's gone for the medium, so he's probably got some front wing damage somewhere, so he hasn't gone for the inters yet. So that explains why he has gone into the pit lane. Into turn 6 they go, corner. Was hoping he would have had a much better start than that, but didn't quite do it. Valters is already up into P12 with this race. He is a machine right now. He is the championship leader for a reason. And wait, was that a move into turn 9? Or 8 and 9? Valters, that was a very brave move from the Aston Martin driver, I have to say. Good on him. That was insane. He means business. I think him starting on the soft tyres is not a bad idea, because he is quick. And he's almost catching to the guys up front. He's got Fabi and he's got Louis. Louis on the mediums now. Passing Louis will probably be a bit easier, but passing Fabi will probably be a little bit difficult for these conditions. And just to let you know, Jano Otmir is not racing in this tier or in PlayStation. He races on Thursday night at 7 PM on PC. Yellow flag. That is Suko that's retired. VSC. Where was that? I need to check my track map to see where he's binned it. We got a VSC. That was middle of turn 10. Well, just at... Yeah, turn 10 he binned it. That was a weird place to bin it. So how long is this VSC going to last for? Whilst we have this VSC period, gives us plenty of chances to look at the position changes. So, Daniel's gained 1, Brot's gained 1, Netsky and Louis gained 4, Valter's the biggest gainer, gained 7, Rizze also had a good start, gained 4, Valentin and Dessa gained 1, but biggest loser, Kazizzle, down 8, and he's into the pits, and obviously Suku, the first person to retire from the race. He wanted to win this championship this season, but it doesn't look like he's going to win the championship if he keeps DNFing like that. DRS enabled then. So this is a chance for into turn 13 and into the start-finish straight for them to get the stuff that they need. So we'll find out very shortly. So Cohen, is he going to get the power? 6 tenths now. Baraka's trying to make sure Cohen does not get any slipstream at all. And another yellow flag. That's probably, I don't know who it was, but Baraka closed the door into turn 14 in the hairpin. But Cohen's going to fight back. A little bit of a swerve there from Cohen, but no, he can't get advantage of Baraka, unfortunately. Daniel almost had those two as well. Baraka's got a backseat. You can see that the conditions could get worse here, or will it stay like this for the whole race? Cohen could get Baraka into turn 1. Very tight, lads. Keeping it together, some good respect. I think Cohen has the better line. But Baraka has got to do all he can to defend that into turn 4. Cohen has to take the long way round by looks of things. They're heading towards turn 5 now. Cohen has it. He's got it. But Baraka, you can see turn 6 and he could go for the move there. But he does not go for the move there. So Baraka stays in second, so Cohen keeps the lead. Excellent stuff. And while these two have been battling, the gap between Baraka and Daniel, 0.2 of a second. So the battle for the lead is definitely raging on here at the moment. Another yellow flag. Valentin's off. Valentin is off. And you can tell yeah. I don't think it's going to be long before the DRS is disabled, I think. I can't remember which tier it was. It was a tier Logan commentated on last night. I think it was F10, where it started off dry and then it went like this. I think it was F10. I'm almost certain. But the ending was sensational. If you haven't watched F10, go and watch it, because there was an unexpected winner, but he definitely deserved it. And he managed to go on the Indy for like 19 laps. If this happened in F2 tonight, I think this could show that these drivers can do it. So, lap 5 then. Here comes Baraka. He was fast in the final sector. Here he comes. He looks more comfortable in the wet. Don't forget, in France, it was raining for wet for a little bit. Baraka was looking the strongest out of anybody. He must be the weather merchant of this tier. But we'll see then. He's going to hope that the rain's going to come any sooner, as in harder. Daniel's dropped off a little bit. Let's see if there's any moves being made. We've got, I think, Brock and Cornet fighting with each other. Teamwork at play here, because don't forget, it's all about the constructors too, not just the drivers. As Deso has left the session, and Kazizel's gone for inters. Kazizel has gone for inters. So has Deso. Now, that is a gamble, but you can see the track is getting worse. Will this be a gamble worth paying off? We'll have to find out. We'll see how Kazizel does going into turn 4. And I think it could be the right decision. So I think it will be time for these guys to box. And I think it would have been that time to box anyway, if they were on the soft to hard strategy in the dry. As Deso has got disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. That is rude. So will everybody go into the pits? They've got to. They've got to. No, they do not come in. But Gil does. This could be game-changing for Gil if he gets this right. Handler is in. Valtus has to stay in because you can't double stack. But you probably lose enough time, more time, if you stay out. Oh! Valentin has hit the wall. The pit wall. He's done a Lewis Hamilton. He's out the race. And again, this marks the 8th race where Haas are not scoring any points. It's like real life. It's like real life. But very bad for Valentin. He was trying to do the right thing and go on the inters, but it just doesn't work. And if you're not pitting now, it's going to cost them a lot of time. I've looked at my data in terms of, obviously, the pit lane lost time. 22 seconds, and it will increase just a little bit if you're on the wrong tyre. Baraka did look like he was going to go in for a move there into turn 12, but he didn't. So we'll see then, and I'm actually seeing if DRS is disabled yet. I don't think DRS is disabled, or is it? No, it's not. DRS is still enabled. But you can still see the raindrops on the car, and you can still see it really damp. So here comes Baraka then. To the right-hand side into turn 14. Clips that right hand curve a little bit. Baraka almost spun there. My oh my, that was insane save there. This could be a good chance for Daniel. And all of them go in. Oh, Daniel almost hits Baraka there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brock stays out because of his teammate in. But maybe he should have come in too, because he probably will be near the back house. Fabi stays out. Rite stays out. Valters also stays out. Would I have stayed out? I do not know. I literally do not know. You can tell he's struggling a little bit. He's swerving. And it's not going to be long before Cohen and Baraka catch up. And we do have some yellow flags. There's Daniel. Oh, Daniel almost went off. How did that not end up in a crash? That was brilliant. But we did just see the DRS disable sign. Gil is catching. So Gil's up to a net P4 right now. So he did the right thing by making the call to go on the inters. And the ones are in the top 4 that have not pitted yet. They're probably kicking themselves in the cockpit saying, oh God, I should have pitted right now. But for some of them, they obviously... Because in my situation, if I had to pit, I didn't care if I would lose time on a double stack. I would lose more time than by staying out. So that's what they got to think about it. But for some drivers, they haven't had that experience on the F1 game. So that's probably why. So Valtters is going to come in. But I'm looking at the gap to leader then. Gap to leader. So Valtters is going to drop to P11 in the race. He's going to drop to P11. Fabi's going to drop to P12 or 13. Brock's just got past Reza. So hopefully all 4 don't go. Valtters stays out. Valtters, what are you doing? Is he thinking there's going to be 4 wets? I think that's the only explanation. Or it might be we may have a France situation where it was inters, then 4 wets, and then it was dry again. Maybe he's thinking that, but again, it's too much for risk. When he goes in the pits, the more time he stays out, the more position he's going to lose out to his rivals. I don't know what he's doing right now, or it might just be a glitch that he might be on the inters, but he's not. So is this a bottle job for our championship leader, Valtters? Someone did spin in sector 1. That was Daniel. That was Daniel that spun. And I think he's gone in to have a change of front wing. So yeah, that was the 2 Ferraris are having a disaster class today. I wonder if Mattia Bonotto will be looking back at this race and it'll be a very hard debrief. Oh, Valtters. And I wonder if we could actually get a poll in the chat, actually. Do you think it could get to 4 wets? Is it going to be 4 wets by the end of this race? I don't think so, but it's way that Valtters is staying out, and same with Fabio and Rizzo, it could be 4 wets. So let us know, is it going to be 4 wets by the end, or is it not? And to be fair, Valtters has nothing to lose, because even if he bottles it today, he will still lead the championship. And he stays out again. He's not even struggling that much, but Fabi's struggling even more. Rizzo's catching up to them, and Cohen's already caught back to the back of the soft and the medium runners. This shows that the intermediate tyres are the best tyre to be on right now. And he's going to go for the move. He doesn't want to be held up. Here he comes, turn 3. Now into turn 4. Perfect. Very well executed. Cohen is your net race leader. And Fabi lets Cohen through. And I'm sure Fabi will realise that his teammate is quicker on the inters, and he'll be like, right, I'm going on the intermediates as well. Baraka's now up into a net P2 now. And he's going to go for a brave move that we saw Valtters go earlier on. He does. I think slightly earlier this time, though, which was very brave in these wet conditions. So, and well done to all these drivers for keeping it so clean. We got Gil and Fabi as well. Fabi is just dropping like flies. Fabi is not a fan of a pretty much a wet track dry tyre challenge is what Fabi and Valtters and Rizzo are doing right now. So I know some of you guys watched those videos on YouTube, because I did. But these were the first videos I watched where it was a wet track dry tyre challenge. Literally all the dry runners are just being passed. Apart from Valtters. Valtters is still leading. Valtters is still leading. I don't know how he's doing it. but he's just crawling through turn 15. He's going slower than ever. Now he's going to the right a little bit. He's staying out again. Oh my word. Every one of the Inter runners is catching now. Oh my word. It is a nice try, Valters, but I don't think it's going to work. To be honest, I like that he's trying this. I like people that take gambles like this, but I hate to see him spin or anything like that, so... But you never know what could happen. It's a sign of a champion if he can keep on those softs for so long. He's already passed the sell-by date of these tyres anyway, but with the cooler temperatures, the softs could last longer. Cohen's already passed Valters. There we go. Netsky is already past that. I think the main overtakes are going on. It's all the intermediate runners passing the dry runners. That's what's happening right now. I think it could be full wet. I think that's why. But again, you just do not want to risk it. You got to be good on a wet track dry tyre if you want to stay out there, and that's what Valtteri is proving. Or maybe he's doing a challenge for YouTube. That's probably why. He's probably doing it to see if he can. That will be a nice video if he does it. Baraka gets past Valdes up to 3rd. Baroque gets past Rizet up to 9th. Don't forget the top 10 do score points in this league. First place gets 16 points. Second place gets 12. Third place gets 10. Fourth gets 8. Fifth gets 6. And it's 5, 4, 3, down to 1 point for 10th. So there comes Gil, up to 3rd into turn 14, into the hairpin then. Gil, I have to say, Gil has been one of the stars of the show so far, who was one of the first people to just decide, you know what, I'm going to go on these wet tyres. Remember George Russell, Russia, Spa? They were the first drivers to be like, oh yes, Inters are the right tyres. So it may just be a Inter trait, you never know. And Jeff could be needing a new job for Valters if Valters keeps crawling around like that. And we do have our first time penalty of the session, which is Rizet, and Valters does let Hadler through. I'm liking this race so far. I literally don't know the strategy. I don't know if it's going to get worse. I don't even know if it's going to get any better. And you can tell that it's getting even more slippery, I think. So you never know. I think Fabi and Valters could be under puncher territory if they could keep it up. I want to know what these two tyre life right now at the moment. I think Valters is probably about 60. Fabi, I think around 65. I think that's my reckoning. Or it could be 75, 80. I'm not entirely sure what stage. It stopped raining. It stopped raining. Is that why Valters stayed out? Is that why Rizza stayed out? Is that why Fabi stayed out? So it started off dry, then it went to Inters, then it was dry again. My oh my, things had changed massively. So Valters could still be on for a podium. And now he's realised that the conditions are right for him. So we thought he was a bottle job. And to be honest, I now realise that he knows what he's doing. He is a top driver. So that just went dry like no tomorrow. It really did. Fabi's in. He's probably going to go on some mediums. Yes, he does. Everyone's on dry tyres now. Everyone's on the medium tyres. That is... it's dry enough. It's definitely dry enough to go on dries. There is some slippier moments in Sector 2. But if you're not on dries right now, then, you know, Sector 2 is probably the wettest part of the track right now. Sector 1's dry. And I think Sector 3's dry as well. And you can see Valtters is gaining on Louis right now. How is he doing it? I do not know. But he's doing it remarkably well. And I'm loving this race so far. I'm watching the ERS deployment as well. He's been saving for all his worth. It's around about 60% on his ERS at the moment. Brock gets past Kazizel. So Kazizel needs to pit. Louis needs to pit. Corner needs to pit now. And I'm just looking at the gap to leader because that's what we want to watch. So Valtters is coming in, so is Louis. They're going to go on the inters. Oh no, Louis, don't do a Valentine. Don't do a Lewis Hamilton. And he almost did, which he did not. Cornet comes in as well for mediums. And I do believe mediums could get to the end of the race so far. And we're already on lap 13. And so far, we've seen no safety cars. So I have to say the race is a lot cleaner than last week. Rizet is currently your race leader. But he still has to box. And he's got that 3-second time penalty. I was just not expecting it to dry up. I was expecting it to get worse. So I've never seen a lobby like this. But China always brings out magic in this tier. It always does. So Kazizel goes into the pits for mediums. And you can see some parts are quite struggling. Like if when you go past turn 10, you just can't get the grip, but everywhere else should be fine. And we did have a question in the chat on whether it's going to rain again. But I doubt it. But I said I doubt it was going to dry up, and it did. So, you know, just watch until the end of this race, because we will be on some... This is going to be exciting end. We won't know who's going to win. We don't know who's on the right strategy. It's just going to be absolutely crazy. So, here comes Gil on the back of Baraka. And Baraka, don't forget, has Risse in front. He could be holding up the likes of Cohen. And that could really help his strategy. And if Baraka's not careful, Baraka could get a time penalty. So where's Valtters now? Valtters up to 7th. So that's still a remarkable position even though he started last. So that is impressive for him. And like I said earlier, there could be some late safety cars. The gap before this race between Valtters and Cornet, 21 points. Just 21. At the moment, as it stands, Cornet will not score any points. So the gap will increase to around about 25. That's not what Cornet wants. So Cornet has got to find the grip that he needs. He's got to make sure and hope that other people make a mistake. Gil. 5 temps separate him and Baraka. But I don't think he's close enough to get that move into turn 13 soon. But one thing that Baraka does not have is DRS. So will that be the recipe that he wanted? The icing on top of a cake, as I like to say. Slipstream, DRS, he's now 8 temps. But what about Cohen on Risse? That is the battle we want to watch out first. But with Cohen on the fresher tyres, he is your race leader. A net race leader and your on-track race leader now. Will that strongly suggest that Risse needs to pit? No, he stays out. Baraka. Still got Gil chasing him. Turn 1, 2 and 3. Tricky braking zone. And one of the most prime opportunities of overtaking on this circuit. We're starting to see fastest laps go left, right and centre for these guys. And for some of these drivers, it's what could have been, I think, for these. If I pitted like a lap earlier or a lap later maybe, I probably would have done a lot better. Lap earlier for pretty much for all of these guys. So Baraka's now catching up to his teammate. He's going to get to a point where Risse has got to be playing team orders because he knows that Gil's catching. The more the Baraka gets held up, the more the Gil's like, hang on. But I wonder if Rizze is slowing down so Baraka could get the DRS and it will counteract and DRS won't be as effective as because Baraka and Gil will have DRS. So, and Admiral in the chat said you always get hectic races to commentate. I do. So here comes Gil. I don't think Baraka's challenging him there. Nope, he's not. Or is he? Turn at 15 he goes. Down to the right-hand side. I think Gil has the better exit. He does. Gil is into P2. A net P2. Now that the wet conditions have gone, the Baraka is starting to struggle a little bit. So Gil could be on a charge here. Baraka also has DRS. What will Rizze do now? Rizze, if I was him, I would play the team game. They've got to work as a team, as Biggle says in the chat. Because otherwise, it will go and end up in disaster. We don't want to see what happened to Baraka last week in Austria, along with Kazizel and Wouters. That ended in tears. One of the most bizarre endings of a race that I ever commentated on. And we're on this first back straight, yellow flag. That is an Alpino's Recon safety car. Or is it a pit lane retirement? It is a pit lane retirement, so we won't get a safety car. So it must have been Recon that binned it somewhere else or something like that. And he was just like, you know what, I'm having enough of this. But you can't give up in a time like this. You've got to really start to consider what you got to do. But hey ho, you live and you learn. So Baraka does get past Rizze. Up into third now, so he's not going to get held up too much now. He's still got the DRS on Gil, so his race is not over. And now we've got the two Aston Martins on a chase. Netsky's having a good race. But saying that, he's just got a 3-second time penalty. So ignore what I just said on Netsky. But he's got to get past, I think, these guys in order to have make sure that he can close the gap and make sure that he does not lose any more positions. So we're pretty much into the final third of this race very soon. And who will be made of the right stuff at the end of this race? Gil has not won a race in quite a long time. I need to actually check when was his last win. Gil's last win was France. Last season, season 28 was his last win. And he's looking quicker than Cohen. This could be advantage Gil right now. I'm looking at positions gained for the Williams driver. He started third. And he's up to second. So he's qualified well. And he's been made of the right stuff. Even though he dropped a few positions off the start. Due to the fact that he was struggling with the transition to the wets. He's loving these dry conditions. And he wants to keep it up. But he's got to keep his penalty in check. I think he's on a few warnings now. And if he gets one more warning, penalty over. Well, penalty he'll get, actually, if that's the case. His race will be over, as I was trying to say. And I have to say, Gil is my driver of the day so far. Wouters has gained 12 positions. He's, I think, gets my second driver of the day because of that. He just... We thought there was going to be enough... We thought there was going to be game over, but we didn't know it was going to dry up, so... It's a good job for him. I don't think he's going to get the race victory, but more importantly, he's going to increase the gap in the championship. And sometimes, if you're leading the championship, winning is not too bad. Not winning is not too bad. As long as you finish ahead of your main rivals, that's all you care about. And I think some people just like to fight for wins all the time, but you know if you fight for championships, you know that maybe winning may not be a bad thing. So anyway, lap 19, I believe now. Yeah, not lap 19 of 28. Cohen leads by 1.1 seconds. Gill not close enough to him for the DRS, which is... it's painful to watch. But he knows he's got, pretty much 10 laps of this race to go. And still plenty of action that could happen. Rizza, 18 laps on the mediums. And I'm just looking at, I'm going to look at my data once again. At, how long do the mediums last? 16 laps. I'm going on board with him. He's going to be in puncher territory soon. But he was on the means a little bit in the colder temperatures. And the colder track temperatures makes your tyres last a bit longer. So I think next lap is where the puncher territory will start, I think, for him. But well done to him for keeping P4. But if there's a safety car, he could be back in it. He could be back in it. So that's what he's praying for. He's doing all right on fuel too. But he literally can't have a gamble. He can't put that gamble on for a late safety car. So he's got to pit soon. Or is he waiting until lap 21 to go onto the softs? Hadler goes past. He's trying his best to lift and coast, but fair play to him. He got a podium last week, but he wants to score more points. Rizza is in the pits. He can only go on the hards or the softs. He has no other option. I made that mistake a few seasons ago in another league, where I pitted around lap 17, 18, thinking, yeah, the softs are going to make it to the end, surely. But they never did. They never did. And Rizza is going on to the softs. So he's doing a medium to soft strategy. Would it work? He's 3.3 seconds. Was 3.3 seconds behind Cornet. He's now 2.3 behind Fabi. So Cornet just got ahead of him, and so did Fabi too. But that's not the battle we want to watch. Cohen has increased the gap to Gill by about 5/10 of a second now. 1.5 seconds is the gap between the two now. Cohen wants this win so badly. He is a reserve driver, but he wants to show that he could be full-time if he wants to. And you never know when a full-time spot could pop up. And you've got to take opportunities with both hands. And another reserve that won this season, I believe it was in France. Actually, no, it wasn't in France. Yeah, it was in Zandvoort. It was in Zandvoort where Netsky, the reserve driver in the Williams, actually won the race. So can we see another reserve driver winning today? We could see it. I wonder if I should make a reserve championship. Like, as in, do my own spreadsheet with all the reserve drivers. That'll be fun. So, I don't know who will be leading that. That would be, I think, Netsky, who's currently on 20 or 25 points. I might do that, ready for next week. That'll be quite interesting stats. Now, I wonder if Cohen is going to be doing some Scenario 7 type things tonight. I won't be surprised if it gets to that. But Cohen knows that he's pushing. Gill and Cohen on 6%, 8% ERS. They're running out. They don't have much time to recharge the batteries. So, if I was Gill, I would save some. If you're not overtaking, save some ERS and then use it to overtake Cohen later. Because Gill knows he has to pay, so, you know, I'm looking at other people's ERS as well. Barakat, 37%, so he's doing all right. Hadler, 48, doing a lot better. Same with Netsky as well. Here comes Rizza it was on the back of Fabi. And he got past him. One more place and then he'll get into the points. Could he be on for his second points finish in a row? The man who was struggling to get points all season. And he could be on for a point streak. But I don't want to jinx things. Here comes Brock and Valtters into turn 14. Brock brilliantly crafted there. Brock's up to 6th. Valtters has no answer there. Brock could get Netsky as well. Brock, his pace is amazing right now. 134.441. He's almost matching the pace of the leaders. He is matching the pace of the leaders. Incredible stuff. This could mean everything for him. He can't have any slides though. He's got to manage his tyres. He can't push too much. He's also got to manage his ERS too. Same with Netsky. Turn 6 is where the ERS could be recharged in a way and you can gain a bit of battery back. And you can see the moments where Brock is just struggling. To be honest, I would struggle if I was him around this track. So, to be honest, these guys are doing a better job than I am. But this is a no assist here. No line, no traction control, no ABS, no automatic gears. And I think Netsky's catching up to Handler as well. So we could see a 3-car fight for P4. And could be a 4-car fight for the podium. So we'll keep an eye on these guys. Daniel, unfortunately, is not going to be scoring any points this race, which is heartbreaking. I think I shouldn't really say too much about Daniel, because I was bigging him up at the beginning of the street. So you can see how many stops people have made. It just goes to show how frantic the race was being with the changeable conditions. And don't forget, you can watch the F1 stream right now, but have it on mute. Qualifying's going on. Their race has not started yet. We still got a race in our hands. We still got plenty of laps to go, plenty of action, plenty of things could go right, plenty of things could go wrong. Rizza is gaining a lot. He is pushing like no tomorrow. He wants that point, and if he's lucky, because he's the only one on softs, if he nails it and pushes and manages his tyres, he would probably get a fast lap point too. So we could be on for 2 World Championship points. I know he'd won a podium, but he wasn't even predicting a podium last week. So he's on a comeback charge. He is definitely on a comeback charge. Only 3 drivers on the grid so far have got penalties. Cohen has gained, I think, a few tips on Gill that lap as well. And I think Gill's gained a bit on the straights. I think that's where Cohen is gaining. I think Cohen is gaining on the straights. Because Gill is getting a bit on the corners, but you never know. A massive shout out to everybody in the chat. Don't forget, like I said earlier, I'm going to give a cheeky plug to our socials. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PremierSimGL. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Turn that red button into a grey button if you haven't already. Like this video and hit that bell icon to be notified on when we go live. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Sunday. Mondays are PlayStation's tiers 1 to 8. Wednesday is PCF2. Not F3 this week, they're not streaming Portimao. Thursday is F13 and F12. Sunday is F11, F10 and F9. And obviously back to F1 and F9, F1 to F8 from next Monday. And yes, I do know the tiers off by heart because I am head of comms. I meant to know what tiers are on at which times because otherwise I'm a naughty head of commentary if I don't remember. And we also got PCF1, the final round on Thursday at 8 PM at Portimao. We already got a champion for that. That was Jana Otmir. He was crowned last week in China. So big well done to him. But I'm sure we're going to be in for a crazy race. That will be commentated by George Morgan and Dan Field on Thursday at 7. So make sure you watch that. But we still got plenty of laps still of this to go. And it's amazing. Louis and Simo are still fighting. I know it's not for the lead. It's been quite a quiet final few laps of this race so far. But these drivers definitely want to put on a show. Now, I do believe mid-season sign-up are still open with some tiers. So, if you are interested, make sure you join our Discord. The Discord link is in the description. So you click that link and it will take you to the welcome screen where you can find out a little bit more information on how to sign up if you want to. And you obviously have to either have a PlayStation or a PC. And then jobs are good. And if you have any questions, obviously, we've got Connor, Big C, Kryptonite. We've also got Josh, Joel, and Maku, who will be able to answer your questions and help you with your application to be a driver if you get stuck. So Brock gets past Netsky. And I think Valters could be on this battle anytime soon as well. So Valters will probably be thinking, you two keep battling. Yeah, that's fine. I could just close in on you and I could gain more points in the championship. Thank you very much. This could mean everything for Valters. And you can see his teammate in the distance. I think Aston Martin will keep that lead in the constructors. And Rizze, I don't think we'll be getting points. I think he's getting to the stage where tyres are starting to degrade. Because don't forget, these tyres last 7 laps. The optimum pace, I think, around the softs at least, is around lap 4, lap 5. Fabi's on the softs. He wants to steal the fastest lap point from everybody else, so nobody else could get it, and Cohen could get the maximum points. And someone just asked a question in the chat on when season 30 starts. I don't have a clue on that one, but keep an eye on our socials. More information will be revealed as the time goes on. Cohen's doing a great job right now, but he can't afford to become complacent. We've had people been it from the lead before in this tier, and we don't want it to be Cohen. And I don't think we're going to have a scrap for the win. I don't think Gil could catch up to enough, unless Cohen makes a mistake. And I have to say, Gil has made the best strategy call out of anybody. And that is where he is today, and that's why he was maintaining P2. He probably is gutted that the win is not his. He is pushing though, he is pushing. He's using his ERS. He's got to know when the battery can be recharged, but he knows, I think, that Cohen is pushing exactly the same, and he's probably pushing harder as well. So I think the main battle we're going to see is between Brock, Netsky and Valters. Daniel in the pits again. Is that another retirement, or is he going to go on into the softs? Fabi has retired. He's given up. And it's obviously too late for a safety car. And I'm actually quite surprised we've had no safety cars this week. So fair play to everybody. Great job. Everybody has nailed it at the moment. And I don't want to commentators curse people, big olds. I did that last week. And look what happened in the final lap. It was interesting, to say the least. So we're about to go on to the final lap now. Lap 28 of 28. Thank you for watching this stream so far. It's been amazing. Second week of me commentating by myself, which was a bit last minute. I was hoping Owen was going to join me, but he had an issue out of his control, sadly. So hopefully he will be back in the box with me next week with good internet, and we will all be happy. And he wouldn't want to miss. He doesn't want to miss Portimao next week, because I'm looking forward to Portimao. It'll be the first time I'm commentating Portimao on this game, so, and I know he won't want to miss that. So he's going to probably try and do everything to make sure his internet does not die next week. So let's watch Cohen then. Going through turn 13. He's pretty much nailed it. He's led a lot of this race. And he was the one who played the strategy right as well. I think he was the second after Gil to pit. And he's looking to have his first win in PSGL F2, which is something he was not expecting. Hairpin at turn 14. The checker flag is in sight. Do not give up now, Cohen. He could celebrate if he wants to. Cohen comes across the line to win in PSGL F2 in China. Gil just misses out in second. Baraka gets another podium. Great job to him after a bad race last week. Handler comes across the line in fourth. And we've got Brock, Valters and Netsky. Don't forget Netsky with that penalty. Simo in 8th. Louis in 9th. And we're just waiting for Cornet in 10th. And the fastest lap at the moment currently belongs to Fabi, who's retired. So nobody will get that fastest lap point. So Rizzo in 11th, and we're just waiting for Daniel, who, what could have been, but fair play to Daniel for not giving up. And I'm sure the more laps and mileage that these drivers put into the sim on the racetrack, the better these drivers can become. So I have to say Cohen, Gil, drivers of the day for me. Valters as well, for climbing up from last to 6th. Would he have wanted the win today? I don't know. And Daniel has used all his deployment, but he doesn't care. So here he comes across the line. And that is it then for PSGL F2. And there was a few people in the chat actually that were saying, where was the rain? At the start, it just came in a formation lap. That's what we saw. And there we go then, here's our podium. 3 different nationalities as well, which is quite impressive. I think it's Cohen Dutch, I don't even know. He has a world flag, so it's hard to tell. So we'll let the podium celebrations go on, but it got quiet towards the end, but at the start and in the middle, it was epic. So let's look at your results then. Cohen wins from Gil in 2nd, Baraka 3rd, Handler 4th, Brott in 5th, Valters 6th, Netsky 7th, Simmer in 8th, Louis 9th, Cornet in 10th, and gets the final point. Rizze and Daniel are your final finishers. They do not score points, sadly. And your retirements are Fabi, Cazidal, Recon, Valentine. Just when will a Haas driver score points? Just when? I don't even know. Dezo and Suku. And we only had 18 drivers tonight. And that is the end of the stream. Let's hope we could get some interviews, maybe. You never know, even though it's obviously not mandatory, but I would like to hear from our top 3. We'd like to possibly hear from Cohen in particular as well, but it was unpredictable. It dried up very quickly, definitely caught me off guard there, because I was expecting it to be 4 wets, but there was a clue at the start of qualifying that it was going to have a rain-affected race for sure. And I would like to do China again at PSGL. And Cohen's just asked if there's any interviews. Now, I just said if he wants to. He doesn't have to. Hopefully we can hear from him Is he in the rating room? We'll give him just a few moments. And he does want to join us in the interview box. That is brilliant. So let's drag him in then. And I need to tell him first where he needs to go. And I'll just keep muting and unmuting my mic because I don't really want to be typing for you on Discord. So here he is. We're going to get Cohen in then. And let's get the interview scene before we pass on. So there we go. So Cohen, we'll drag him in. So hopefully Cohen can hear me. Congratulations, mate. You got your first victory in PSGL F2 as a reserve driver. Were you exhausted after that?
Yeah, pretty much. Was a really sweaty race. Girl was constantly pushing so hard to get into my DRS, and yeah, it was pretty hard to hold him off. But in the end, I finally succeeded, and it was a very good race.
Yeah, because you got pole. I think it was in Silverstone, I believe, and you didn't get luck there. But at the start of the race, you said Jeff told you it was going to rain in the racing quali, and then when you went to the grid, you saw the dry tyres on your car. Did that panic you a bit?
Nah, not really. I thought it was raining a little bit, but not enough for Inter. So we just went and just hoped that it would stay dry until the meetings, but it didn't. And yeah, we had to eventually box to the Inters, which was obviously very fun because I pulled a bit of a gap to Baraka and then it dried up, and then I had a decent gap to Gil. So yeah, eventually that helped me get the win.
Yeah, and you saw the rain getting worse as well, and you saw the likes of Valdes and Rizzo staying out, which I didn't think could work, and I didn't think it was going to dry up as well. Did you almost do the same as them too and decide to stick it out there, or did you realise that you probably would have dropped down anyway if that was the case?
Yeah, Jeff told me the rain was going to end soon, but I didn't trust it, so I just went to the Inter and gambled, and luckily it was the right strategy because it rained for like 10 plus laps. So
yeah,
in the end, I picked the right strategy, and that was a really good choice eventually.
Yes, indeed. And we head to a new track on the game next week, Portimao. Have you driven much around this track, and are you looking forward to it?
I've done a bit of time trial, but from what I've seen, it's an amazing track. So it should be really fun with all the elevation changes and make up for a good race.
Yeah, as well. And after this week, do you think you ever want a full-time seat in PSGL?
If I get the chance to this season, yeah. But I think for next season, if I just do the normal sign-ups, I'm sure I'll get a main seat in F1 or F2. So, yeah.
Well, you definitely proved, so I think, the likes of Connor and Kryptonite, that you deserve to be in any of the top 2 tiers. So, well done to you, Karen, on the win. And if we see you next week, because obviously you're a reserve, of course, best of luck. If not, then enjoy next week off, and hopefully we'll see you in Portimao, but it depends on if we get, we'll have to find out anyway. But well done to you, Karen, on the victory. So
thanks, Jeff. Have a good night.
We will get our P2 man, who his last time on the podium was France last season. Gil, what a strategy masterclass from you. The first driver to go onto the Inters, one of the first drivers to go to the dries again. You ended up P2 on the podium. How do you feel? And Gil, can you hear me? He probably can't hear me, or his mic's on mute. I don't know. So hopefully we'll be hearing from him soon. I'll probably have to repeat the question again. I might have to drag him from the rating room to the commentary box again. But it was nice to hear from Cohen, actually, to hear his views. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed speaking to him. And I don't think Gil can hear me. So I'm going to drag Gil back from the rating room, and I'm going to drag him back again. Hopefully that worked. If not, knowing the stream, it will probably work whilst I'm about to end the stream. So I'm not giving up, folks. I want to hear from this man, who's probably speechless at the moment. No, it doesn't look like we're going to hear from him because I think he's... I need to actually check. I'll check the chat as well. So, Gil, I think you're... If you can hear me in the chat... Oh, he's gone. He is gone. That is annoying. So it might be just his Discord playing up a bit. So, we are going to wrap it up here, folks, unless Gil joins in the next minute or so. So, I'm going to talk about next week, Portimao. New track on the game. Not many people have raced around it. It's going to take a lot of skill and a lot of practice to get right. And these drivers have got to be on their A game. You can't have little practice because it's such a new track. They've got to get used to not knowing it, to drive it with no assist at all, because the racing line, they're not allowing it. So, we're going to end the stream, so it doesn't look like Gil will be joining us. So, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you same time next week. Hopefully, Owen will be back as well. Hopefully, Owen's internet will be hunky-dory. I'll be back again next week. I'm almost certain of it. So, have a good evening, everybody. And there's still... I'm just actually going to check which streams are on now. I know F1's on now. And I think it's I think it's just F1. It's just F1. F1 and F8 on now. So make sure you watch those two. I've been JessGames95. Have a good evening. And I will let you enjoy these streams. Goodbye.